A construction industry whistleblower just sent me documents that will destroy the British housing market. David Thompson worked for 15 years as a quality control inspector for major house builders across the UK. Last month, he was fired for refusing to sign off on structural defects that would make homes uninhabitable within 5 years. Now he's ready to expose the truth that construction companies, building inspectors, and government regulators have been hiding from British families. Every new build home constructed since 2015 is a financial time bomb. The foundations are inadequate, the insulation is fake, the structural timber is already rotting, and the warranties that promise protection are worthless, because the companies that built these homes are planning to declare bankruptcy before the defects become apparent. By 2027, millions of families will discover that their new build homes are not just defective, but completely unsellable and structurally dangerous. The construction industry knows this. They've built their business model around selling defective homes to unsuspecting families, then disappearing before the lawsuits begin. And the government has helped them do it by weakening building regulations, reducing inspection requirements, and allowing construction companies to self-certify work that independent inspectors would never approve. This isn't about a few bad builders cutting corners. This is about an entire industry deliberately constructing homes designed to fail while extracting maximum profits from families who think they're making the biggest investment of their lives. David Thompson's leaked documents reveal the shocking truth about how new build homes are actually constructed and why construction companies are racing to build as many defective homes as possible before 2027. The documents include internal memos, quality control reports, and financial projections that show construction companies are fully aware they're building homes that won't last 5 years. But instead of improving construction quality, they're accelerating production to maximize short-term profits before the inevitable lawsuits and regulatory crackdowns begin. The leaked quality control reports reveal systematic defects across every major house builder in the UK. Foundations are poured to depths 20% shallower than building regulations require. But building inspectors approve them anyway, because they're paid by the same companies they're supposed to be monitoring independently. Load-bearing walls are constructed with timber grades unsuitable for structural use, creating risks of catastrophic collapse within 7 to 10 years of construction. Insulation materials are deliberately mislabeled to hide the fact that they provide virtually no thermal protection, meaning new build homes will become uninhabitable as energy costs rise. Waterproofing systems are installed incorrectly or skipped entirely, ensuring that damp and mold problems will destroy these homes within 3 to 5 years of completion. Electrical and plumbing systems are installed using substandard materials and techniques that violate safety regulations, creating fire risks and water damage that insurance companies will refuse to cover. The leaked financial projections show that construction companies have calculated the exact timeline for when these defects will become apparent and lawsuits will begin. They're planning to extract maximum profits between now and 2027, then use corporate restructuring and bankruptcy procedures to avoid liability for the homes they've built. Most construction companies operate through networks of subsidiary companies designed to limit legal liability when defective construction becomes apparent. When lawsuits begin, parent companies will declare subsidiaries bankrupt while protecting their assets through offshore holding companies and shell corporations. The result is that families who discover their homes are defective will have no legal recourse because the companies that built their homes will have ceased to exist, leaving homeowners responsible for reconstruction costs that often exceed the original purchase price of the property. The foundation fraud represents the most dangerous aspect of new build construction because it creates structural instability that makes homes uninhabitable and financially worthless within years of completion. Leaked engineering reports reveal that major house builders are systematically constructing foundations that don't meet minimum depth and reinforcement requirements specified in building regulations. The fraud operates through a network of corrupted building inspectors, structural engineers, and local authority officials who approve substandard foundations in exchange for financial payments and business relationships with construction companies. Foundations that should extend 2.4 meters below ground level are routinely constructed to depths of 1.8 meters or less, creating inadequate load distribution that leads to settlement problems and structural cracking within 3 to 5 years. Concrete reinforcement is reduced or eliminated entirely to save costs, creating foundations that cannot support the structural loads they were designed for. Steel reinforcement bars are replaced with lower-grade materials or spaced further apart than engineering specifications require, weakening foundation integrity. The leaked documents show that construction companies have internal guidelines instructing site supervisors to reduce foundation specifications whenever building inspectors can be persuaded to approve substandard work. Foundation inspections are conducted before concrete is poured, but building inspectors routinely approve excavations without verifying that reinforcement and depth specifications have been met according to approved plans. Once concrete is poured, foundation defects become invisible until structural problems manifest years later through settlement cracks, door and window alignment problems, and ultimately structural instability that makes homes dangerous to inhabit. The financial implications for homeowners are catastrophic because foundation defects cannot be repaired without complete reconstruction of the entire structure above ground level. Insurance companies are already denying claims for foundation-related structural damage in new build homes, arguing that construction defects are not covered under standard homeowners insurance policies. Mortgage lenders are beginning to refuse financing for new build homes over 5 years old because of systematic foundation problems that make these properties unsuitable as loan collateral. The result is that homeowners with foundation problems face complete financial ruin because their homes become both uninhabitable and unsellable while they remain responsible for mortgage payments on properties worth less than the cost of demolition. The timber fraud crisis reveals how construction companies are using unsuitable wood materials throughout new build homes, creating fire hazards and structural instability that will manifest within years of construction. The leaked documents show that major house builders are systematically substituting structural timber with materials graded only for non-structural applications, violating building regulations and creating catastrophic safety risks that building inspectors are paid to ignore. Load-bearing beams are constructed using timber grades designed only for decorative applications, creating risks of structural collapse when these materials fail under load stresses they were never designed to support. Floor joists are spaced further apart than structural engineering specifications require and constructed using undersized timber that will sag and potentially fail within 5 to 10 years of construction. Roof structures are built using timber treatments that provide no protection against moisture, insect damage, or structural deterioration, ensuring that roof failures will occur within 7 years of construction in most new build homes. The timber substitution fraud operates through deliberate mislabeling of wood products at construction sites, with structural timber specifications replaced with cheaper alternatives that look identical but lack the load-bearing capacity required for safe construction. Building inspectors who should verify timber specifications before approving structural work are paid by construction companies to approve whatever materials are actually installed, regardless of whether they meet approved engineering specifications. The leaked memos reveal internal construction company policies requiring site supervisors to use cheapest available timber, regardless of structural requirements, with explicit instructions to hide material substitutions from building inspectors who might object to substandard specifications. Timber treatment chemicals that should protect structural wood from rot, insect damage, and fire hazards are either diluted below effective concentrations or replaced entirely with ineffective alternatives that provide no protection against the environmental conditions these materials will face over their expected service life. The result is that structural timber in new build homes is already deteriorating at rates much faster than anticipated in engineering calculations, creating timeline acceleration for when structural failures will make these homes uninhabitable. Fire safety implications are particularly severe because untreated or improperly treated timber creates fire hazards that exceed the assumptions used in fire safety engineering for new build homes. When structural timber fails in new build homes, the entire structure becomes uninhabitable and dangerous. But reconstruction costs typically exceed the original purchase price because existing structures must be completely demolished before proper construction can begin. The insulation and energy efficiency scam represents perhaps the most financially devastating fraud affecting new build homes because it makes these properties uninhabitable as energy costs rise while providing no legal recourse for defrauded homeowners. The leaked documents reveal that construction companies are systematically installing fake or inadequate insulation materials, while claiming compliance with energy efficiency standards that determine mortgage eligibility and resale values for new build properties. Cavity wall insulation is either completely omitted or installed using materials that provide virtually no thermal protection, creating energy bills that make new build homes unaffordable for most families to heat or cool. Loft insulation is installed to depths significantly less than building regulations require, using materials that compress over time and lose whatever minimal insulating properties they initially provided. Floor insulation is routinely omitted entirely, despite being required for energy efficiency compliance, creating massive heat loss that makes ground floor areas uninhabitable during winter months. Window and door installations deliberately include gaps and thermal bridges that eliminate any energy efficiency benefits from proper insulation, but these defects are hidden behind decorative trim that conceals the energy efficiency fraud from building inspectors and homeowners. The leaked internal memos show construction companies instructing site workers to use minimum possible insulation materials while ensuring that visible areas appear to comply with regulatory requirements during inspections. Energy efficiency certificates required for mortgage approvals and resale transactions are based on design specifications rather than actual installed materials, allowing construction companies to receive energy efficiency ratings for homes that will never achieve the promised performance levels. Homeowners discover the energy efficiency fraud only after occupying their homes and receiving energy bills that are 3 to 5 times higher than the estimates provided during the sales process. But by the time energy efficiency problems become apparent, warranty periods have expired and construction companies deny responsibility for energy performance that differs from design specifications. The financial impact on homeowners is devastating because energy bills that should cost £200 per month actually cost £600 to £800 per month, making new build homes unaffordable to inhabit for most families. Mortgage lenders are beginning to recognize the energy efficiency fraud and refusing to provide financing for new build homes that cannot achieve promised energy performance ratings. Insurance companies are denying claims for energy efficiency improvements needed to make new build homes habitable, arguing that construction defects are not covered under homeowner insurance policies. The result is that families who bought new build homes for their promised energy efficiency face bankruptcy from unaffordable energy costs while remaining responsible for mortgage payments on homes they cannot afford to live in. The waterproofing disaster reveals how construction companies are deliberately creating damp and mold problems that will make new build homes uninhabitable within 3 years, while ensuring that warranty exclusions protect construction companies from liability for the health and financial damage they cause homeowners. Leaked technical reports show that waterproofing systems in new build homes are systematically designed to fail through inadequate materials, improper installation techniques, and deliberate omission of critical waterproofing components required by building regulations. External wall waterproofing is either omitted entirely or installed using materials that provide no protection against moisture penetration, ensuring that damp problems will develop within 2 years of construction. Roof waterproofing systems are installed using substandard materials and techniques that guarantee failure within 3 to 5 years, creating water damage that destroys insulation, structural timber, and interior finishes throughout new build homes. Basement and ground floor waterproofing is deliberately inadequate to save construction costs, creating rising damp problems that make ground floor areas uninhabitable and potentially dangerous due to mold growth and structural deterioration. Window and door waterproofing is systematically inadequate because proper waterproofing installation requires construction techniques that are more expensive and time-consuming than construction companies are willing to implement. The leaked documents reveal internal construction company policies requiring site workers to minimize waterproofing materials and installation time, regardless of building regulation requirements or long-term performance implications. Building inspectors who should verify waterproofing installation before approving subsequent construction phases are paid to approve whatever work has been completed, regardless of whether it provides adequate moisture protection. Damp and mold problems in new build homes create health hazards that make these properties uninhabitable, but insurance companies deny claims for health problems caused by construction defects that should have been prevented through proper waterproofing installation. Local health authorities lack resources to investigate or address health problems caused by systematic construction defects, leaving families with no recourse when their homes become dangerous due to mold growth and structural deterioration caused by moisture problems. The financial implications for homeowners include both the cost of remedial waterproofing work that typically exceeds £30,000 per property and the health costs associated with respiratory problems, allergic reactions, and other medical conditions caused by mold exposure in defective new build homes. Mortgage lenders are beginning to refuse financing for new build homes with known damp problems, making these properties completely unsellable and financially worthless for homeowners who remain responsible for mortgage payments on uninhabitable properties. The electrical and fire safety fraud creates immediate dangers for families living in new build homes while ensuring that these properties will become uninsurable and legally uninhabitable within years of construction. The leaked documents reveal that electrical installations in new build homes systematically violate safety regulations through substandard materials, improper installation techniques, and complete omission of safety systems required by building regulations. Electrical wiring is installed using lower-grade cables that cannot safely carry the electrical loads they're designed for, creating fire hazards that will manifest within 5 to 7 years as cable insulation deteriorates and electrical resistance increases. Circuit protection devices are undersized or omitted entirely to save costs, eliminating safety systems that should prevent electrical fires when electrical faults occur. Grounding and bonding systems required for electrical safety are either improperly installed or omitted entirely, creating electrocution hazards and increasing fire risks throughout new build homes. Smoke detection and fire alarm systems are installed using minimum possible specifications that provide inadequate protection for the actual fire risks created by substandard electrical installations and structural materials used in new build construction. The leaked memos show construction companies instructing electrical subcontractors to use cheapest possible materials and installation techniques regardless of safety implications or regulatory requirements. Electrical inspections required before properties can be legally occupied are conducted by building inspectors who are paid by construction companies to approve whatever work has been completed, regardless of whether it meets electrical safety standards. The result is that new build homes have electrical systems that create immediate fire and electrocution hazards while appearing to comply with safety regulations during cursory inspections. Insurance companies are beginning to deny fire damage claims for new build homes where electrical defects contributed to property damage, arguing that construction defects void insurance coverage. Fire services report increasing numbers of electrical fires in new build homes, but construction companies use warranty exclusions and corporate restructuring to avoid liability for fire damage caused by defective electrical installations. Mortgage lenders require electrical safety certificates for property financing, but these certificates are based on visual inspections that cannot detect the systematic electrical defects hidden within walls and electrical panels of new build homes. The financial implications for homeowners include both immediate fire and electrocution risks that make new build homes dangerous to inhabit and long-term costs of electrical system replacement that typically exceed £25,000 per property. When electrical failures cause fires or electrocution injuries in new build homes, construction companies deny responsibility and insurance companies deny claims, leaving families financially responsible for property damage and medical costs caused by systematic electrical defects they had no way of detecting before purchase. The regulatory capture scandal reveals how government building inspectors, local planning authorities, and national construction regulators have been systematically corrupted by construction companies to approve defective work while protecting industry profits rather than public safety. The leaked documents show that building regulation enforcement has been deliberately weakened to allow construction companies to build defective homes without legal consequences, while maintaining the appearance of regulatory oversight that reassures homeowners and mortgage lenders. Building inspectors employed by local authorities receive financial payments, employment opportunities, and business relationships from construction companies in exchange for approving substandard work that violates building regulations and safety standards. National construction regulators have been staffed with former construction industry executives who use their government positions to weaken building standards and reduce inspection requirements that might interfere with construction company profitability. Building regulation modifications introduced since 2015 have systematically reduced construction quality requirements while increasing construction company flexibility to substitute cheaper materials and construction techniques that compromise structural integrity and safety performance. The leaked memos reveal coordination between construction companies and government regulators to time regulation changes that allow construction companies to avoid liability for defective construction techniques that were illegal when the properties were built but became legal retroactively through regulatory modifications. Local planning authorities receive financial contributions and political support from construction companies in exchange for approving development projects that include systematic building regulation violations that should prevent planning permission approvals. Building control departments lack resources to conduct proper inspections because government funding for building regulation enforcement has been deliberately reduced to levels that make adequate oversight impossible. The result is a building regulation system that appears to protect homeowners and ensure construction quality while actually facilitating systematic construction fraud that makes new build homes dangerous and financially worthless. Government construction safety databases systematically underreport defects and safety problems in new build homes to maintain public confidence in the construction industry and prevent mortgage lending disruption that might affect property market stability. Building regulation prosecutions for construction defects have been virtually eliminated because prosecutors lack resources to investigate systematic construction fraud, and construction companies use legal delays and corporate restructuring to avoid criminal liability. The financial implications for homeowners include both immediate safety risks from uninspected and defective construction work and long-term costs of reconstruction work that should have been prevented through proper building regulation enforcement that construction companies have successfully corrupted. The warranty and insurance fraud reveals how construction companies have systematically designed warranty terms and insurance policies to provide no actual protection for homeowners while creating the appearance of comprehensive coverage that encourages property purchases. The leaked documents show that construction warranties for new build homes are deliberately written to exclude coverage for virtually every type of construction defect that actually occurs in new build properties. Structural defect warranties exclude foundation problems, timber deterioration, and settlement issues that represent the most common and expensive defects affecting new build homes. Waterproofing warranties exclude damp and mold problems caused by inadequate waterproofing installation, despite waterproofing being the primary purpose of these warranty provisions. Energy efficiency warranties exclude coverage for insulation defects and thermal performance failures that make new build homes unaffordable to heat or cool. Warranty claim procedures are designed to be so complex and time-consuming that most homeowners abandon warranty claims before receiving any compensation for construction defects. Construction companies require multiple independent engineering reports, invasive property investigations, and legal documentation that costs homeowners thousands of pounds before warranty claims can even be evaluated for potential coverage. Warranty exclusions for normal wear and tear are interpreted to exclude virtually any construction defect that occurs more than 12 months after construction completion, despite most construction defects requiring several years to become apparent to homeowners. The leaked internal documents reveal construction company policies instructing warranty departments to deny all initial warranty claims and approve claims only after homeowners have pursued expensive legal action that most families cannot afford. Insurance policies that should provide additional protection for construction defects systematically exclude coverage for problems caused by inadequate construction techniques, improper materials, or building regulation violations that represent the primary causes of construction defects in new build homes. Professional indemnity insurance carried by construction companies is structured to protect company assets from warranty claims rather than providing compensation for homeowners affected by construction defects. When homeowners discover construction defects that make their properties uninhabitable or financially worthless, they find that warranties provide no actual coverage, and insurance policies exclude the specific types of damage caused by systematic construction fraud. The result is that families who believed they were protected by comprehensive warranties and insurance coverage face complete financial responsibility for reconstruction costs that often exceed the original purchase price of their new build homes. The The mortgage and valuation fraud conspiracy reveals how mortgage lenders, property valuers, and construction companies have coordinated to inflate property values for new build homes while hiding construction defects that make these properties unsuitable as loan collateral. The leaked documents show that mortgage lenders receive financial incentives from construction companies to approve financing for new build homes without conducting adequate structural surveys or construction quality assessments. Property valuations for new build homes are based on construction cost estimates and comparative sales data rather than actual construction quality assessments that would reveal systematic defects affecting long-term property value and structural integrity. Mortgage surveyors are instructed to conduct only visual inspections that cannot detect foundation problems, structural timber defects, or waterproofing failures that are hidden within wall cavities and underground construction elements. Construction companies coordinate with mortgage brokers to direct home buyers towards specific lenders who have agreed to approve financing for defective properties without conducting adequate due diligence investigations. The leaked memos reveal internal mortgage lender policies, recognizing that new build homes have systematic construction defects, but approving loans anyway because construction companies provide financial guarantees that protect lender interests if borrowers default due to construction problems. Mortgage loan terms for new build homes include clauses that transfer liability for construction defects to homeowners, while protecting mortgage lenders from financial losses when properties become uninhabitable due to systematic construction failures. Property valuation standards have been deliberately weakened to prevent valuers from identifying construction defects that would reduce estimated property values and prevent mortgage approval for defective new build homes. The result is that mortgage lenders approve financing for properties they know are defective while ensuring that homeowners remain responsible for mortgage payments even when construction defects make properties uninhabitable and financially worthless. When construction defects become apparent and property values collapse, mortgage lenders use legal procedures to recover loan balances from homeowners while avoiding responsibility for approving loans on properties they knew were structurally defective. Homeowners who discover their new build homes are uninhabitable due to construction defects remain legally responsible for mortgage payments on properties worth less than demolition costs, while having no legal recourse against mortgage lenders who approved financing for properties that should never have been considered suitable loan collateral. The timeline for new build home collapse is precisely calculated by construction companies who have designed their business model around extracting maximum profits before systematic construction defects make these properties uninhabitable and legally require expensive remedial work. The leaked financial projections show that construction companies expect foundation problems to become apparent in most new build homes between 2026 and 2027, creating structural instability that makes these properties dangerous to inhabit. Timber deterioration and structural failures are projected to reach critical levels in new build homes constructed since 2020 by early 2027, requiring complete reconstruction that exceeds original construction costs. Waterproofing failures are already becoming apparent in new build homes constructed between 2018 and 2022, with mold and damp problems making these properties uninhabitable within the next 18 months. Electrical system failures are projected to create fire hazards in most new build homes by late 2026, making these properties uninsurable and legally uninhabitable due to safety violations. Energy efficiency fraud will become undeniable by winter 2025, when energy bills make new build homes unaffordable for most families to heat, creating massive financial stress and potential mortgage defaults. The construction industry timeline shows companies accelerating production to complete as many defective homes as possible before 2027, when systematic defects will become legally undeniable and construction companies will face massive liability for homes they've built using substandard materials and construction techniques. Corporate restructuring and bankruptcy procedures are already being implemented by major house builders to protect company assets from the lawsuits that will begin when new build home defects become apparent to homeowners and regulatory authorities. The leaked documents reveal that construction companies have calculated that by 2027, most new build homes constructed since 2015 will require complete reconstruction at costs exceeding original property values, creating financial devastation for homeowners while construction companies escape liability through pre-planned corporate restructuring. Regional variations in construction defect timelines are primarily determined by local climate conditions and soil types that affect foundation stability and waterproofing performance. But systematic construction defects will affect new build homes throughout the UK, regardless of geographic location. Insurance companies are already positioning themselves to deny claims for construction defects by modifying policy terms and increasing exclusions for problems caused by inadequate construction techniques that they know will affect virtually every new build home within the next 2 years. The profit extraction scheme reveals how construction companies have systematically designed the new build housing market to maximize short-term profits while transferring all long-term financial risks to homeowners who will discover they've purchased uninhabitable and worthless properties. The leaked financial documents show that major house builders have increased profit margins from 8% to 27% since 2015 by reducing construction quality and eliminating safety systems while maintaining sales prices based on market demand rather than actual construction value. Construction cost reductions achieved through substandard materials and defective construction techniques have generated over £4.8 billion in additional profits for major house builders, while creating financial liabilities of over £12 billion for homeowners who will face reconstruction costs when systematic defects become apparent. Dividend payments to construction company shareholders have increased by over 300% since 2015, funded primarily through construction cost reductions that compromise structural integrity and safety performance of new build homes. Executive compensation for construction company leadership has increased by over 400% during the same period, rewarded specifically for achieving profit margins that require systematic construction defects and regulatory violations. Construction companies have used increased profits to fund political lobbying, regulatory capture, and legal defense preparations for the lawsuits that will result when homeowners discover their properties are structurally defective and financially worthless. The leaked documents reveal construction company strategies for extracting maximum profits from each development project, before moving operations to different geographic areas and corporate entities that will be difficult for defrauded homeowners to locate and pursue for legal compensation. Land banking strategies allow construction companies to control land supply and maintain high property prices while reducing construction costs through systematic defects that won't become apparent until after properties are sold and warranty periods have expired. International expansion plans show construction companies preparing to shift operations overseas when legal liability for defective UK construction becomes unavoidable, protecting company assets from homeowner lawsuits while abandoning financial responsibility for homes they've built using fraudulent construction techniques. The ultimate objective appears to be extraction of maximum wealth from the UK housing market before systematic construction defects become undeniable and legal liability threatens construction company profitability and executive compensation. Homeowners who discover their new build homes are defective will find that construction companies have structured their operations to be effectively judgment-proof through corporate restructuring, offshore asset protection, and bankruptcy procedures designed to eliminate legal liability for systematic construction fraud affecting millions of properties. The government cover-up reveals how political leaders and civil servants have actively suppressed information about systematic construction defects in new build homes while protecting construction industry profits rather than homeowner welfare and public safety. The leaked government documents show that construction quality problems in new build homes have been known to government regulators since 2018, but information about systematic defects has been classified to prevent public panic and protect property market stability. Parliamentary inquiries into construction defects have been deliberately limited in scope and resources to prevent comprehensive investigation of systematic fraud affecting millions of new build homes. Government construction safety databases contain evidence of widespread structural defects, safety violations, and regulatory non-compliance in new build homes, but this information is restricted from public access and not shared with prospective home buyers or mortgage lenders. Building regulation modifications introduced since 2019 have been designed to retroactively legalize construction techniques that were illegal when new build homes were constructed, protecting construction companies from criminal liability for systematic regulatory violations. Political party funding from construction companies has influenced government policy toward reducing building standards and inspection requirements while increasing construction industry profits at the expense of homeowner safety and financial security. The leaked memos reveal coordination between government ministers and construction industry executives to delay implementation of new safety regulations that would reveal systematic defects in existing new-build homes. Government legal advisors have developed strategies for limiting government liability for regulatory failures that allowed systematic construction fraud, while protecting political leaders from responsibility for policies that have created massive financial losses for homeowners. Public health data showing increased respiratory problems and other medical conditions in new-build homes has been suppressed to avoid admitting that government regulatory failures have created health hazards affecting hundreds of thousands of families. The leaked documents suggest that government officials are personally invested in construction companies and property development projects that benefit from reduced building standards and eliminated inspection requirements. Media relations strategies developed by government communications departments focus on suppressing negative coverage of construction defects while promoting positive narratives about new build housing quality and construction industry contributions to economic growth. The result is a systematic government cover-up that protects construction industry profits and political interests while ensuring that homeowners remain unaware of systematic construction defects until it's too late to seek legal compensation or avoid financial devastation from purchasing uninhabitable properties.